Ronnie Rice said this best. He said, when you get comfortable showing at Will Rogers like you are a little weekend show, that's when you're going to start winning. And I think that has a big toll on it. When you get that comfortable inside there and you can breathe and it's not that big a deal, it's always a big deal to us. Don't get me wrong. We're all ready and we got adrenaline pumping. And let me touch on adrenaline. I feel like adrenaline, and I feel like it gets more in the way of a person winning than anything, because your adrenaline gets pumping. And if you have the capabilities to slow that down mentally, your adrenaline pump, and slow that down, because that is part of the reason I lost a lot of cuttings, because my adrenaline was going so fast instead of turn around and stopping and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's go and let's process a good clean cut. It's hard to do that when you're going 9-0 and you're cutting that cow. You know what I mean? And so slowing that adrenaline down, and I don't think enough people talk about that.
The Converse Cowboy journey has given me an opportunity to sit down with some amazing performers from all walks of life, where it is my job to tease out their habits and routines so that you can apply and test in your own life. I've learned, I've grown personally, I've been enlightened, and I've been humbled. Above all, I've realized there is no destination in this life, no goal achieved, or money made that can replace the feeling of flow and the pursuit of doing what you truly love to do. With a growth mindset, I'm constantly asking questions and pursuing knowledge. The Converse Cowboy is a platform that allows me to do just that. I'm excited and eager to share their stories with you all. I'm Mike Roberts, and this is the Converse Cowboy. This episode is brought to you by Kimes Ranch, Kerry Kelly Bits and Spurs, and Bluebonnet Feeds.
Got to practice this last night.
Yeah,
we had a gig.
Yeah, I mean,
had a gig. Yeah.
Your way around a microphone.
The biggest thing is, a guy that's in the band has to keep his voice over one night because they got to play the next night. So, you're going to have to work on the voice deal, not just the playing the harmonica deal. So, I don't know what your advice is to him, but we got to work on that.
That's weak.
Barely ready the next day.
More gigs. You just keep going.
I worked one night, and now I want a week off.
You're a real band guy.
Yeah. Well, you only taught me how to play the harmonica during that one cattle change.
Oh, shoot.
You didn't say anything about my
I can't tell you everything, okay? You got to learn some stuff on your own, okay, Jesse?
So you can play the harmonica too?
Just a little bit, but not big time.
Yeah. Big time. In the cowbox, there was a lot of harmonica playing going on. He's the only one that could wail. And we're professionals, so we know.
Yeah.
Did he get the stink eye from Morgan Cromer when she was filling, or no?
No, separate. He chose to do it in the other Coliseum at a little more appropriate time than I did.
Oh, it wasn't in there.
He had more feel for the general.
I don't think we was exactly watching cows when we played it.
Oh, right on. Does he know the story about Morgan?
You were there when I started playing it, and Morgan was trying to get the cows back, and they all kind of flushed over.
I don't think so.
And she looked at me all mad.
Did you get that look?
Yeah, and I went, "What's going on, girl?" And
it probably didn't change anything.
Damn, girl. Yeah. Look at me with those eyes. I'm a married man. Please.
Oh, shit.
Trying to focus. Shit. I got to memorize these cows.
My whole family played the instruments in church. Not like a real rock and roll band like you guys are. But, my mom can make Jerry Lee Lewis, sing on the pellet.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. She played the piano like big time.
Yeah. It felt like church last night. It was spiritual.
It was, yeah.
Especially when he broke his hand through the tambourine.
Tambourine. Yeah, I just lost it.
Yeah. When you get to going and the spirit gets flowing, bro. That's what happens.
In the heat of the moment. And that's showbiz.
A good place to start, man, is I always struggle. I have friends that will always ask me, when is your next rodeo? And so they just think anything to do with horses is a rodeo. Yeah. So if you could explain cutting in a minute or less, not the history of cutting, but like if somebody were to walk into Will Rogers Coliseum, how do you explain what that sport is?
What you're doing.
To somebody who's never seen it.
I would just do a quick overview, and I've had to do this before, even at clinics and stuff on this, but it's the determination to cut a cow as clean and soft in the middle of the pen is you can cut 2 cows or 3 cows in 2.5 minutes, and you have to stop and quit a cow when it's standing still or turned away from you, and you have to do that in the matter of how you cut that cow, as long as you cut that cow, or as quick, depending on the time. So that's what I just tell them when I'm telling them about, well, what is this? How's this work? And I tell them about the judges real quick. You drop the high and you drop the low, and then that's it. So that's how I just tell them on that manner.
Yeah. I always just say, let me pull up this YouTube video.
Jesse Lennox on Think I'm Hot. And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
That may just confuse people. If they see that thing crawling around everywhere.
And definitely we violated a lot of the rules
Exactly.
of the NCHA.
Well, we don't tell them, all that, because it's cool. I mean, we don't.
Yeah.
You want to do cool things.
Yeah.
You did a cool thing. It just didn't pay that well.
Exactly.
And we talked about that a few weeks after that cutting.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, that basically that's, the 2.5 minutes that you have, that's what you try to get out of it. And we still go by that today when him and I are cutting at the BI next
level.
week. You know what I mean? We want to do our fundamentals and cut a cow in the center of that pen and work the good as much as we can out of that cow, and then get off when we need to.
Yeah.
That don't always happen right.
We're going to jump around a good bit. We'll go back to the early part of your career, but most recently you just won the 4-year-old Super Stakes, and I believe you're in the top 3 in the 5-6 on Bella Luella,
Yeah,
and the 4-year-old was Red and Milds.
Fucking wicked name.
So jealous of this name.
So jealous.
And I meant to bring a pack of Black and Milds. We could have been sitting in here.
How are we not smoking?
I don't know.
Gosh damn it.
There's no smoking place that we're at here.
Right.
Were you responsible for the naming of this
Was
horse?
not. She come with that. That's all Madison Crum, I'm sure, or Barney probably.
They're probably-
One. They got together, smoking one night. No, I don't know that. I'm just joking. But she come with that name
Bimetallic gray mink out of what mare?
out of
One
Red Mist. Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
I
One
knew
Red
that.
Mist. Yeah. Yeah.
Right on. I want to get into the run and all that, but what did it feel like? This is a question for both of y'all, to be back in Will Rogers showing again after a year off from Real Rogers.
Like heaven.
Like home.
I mean, there's no other place. You get to watch cows in the best place, and the lighting's the best place, and the cows are the cows no matter where you're at. But it feels like it's always the best place
Yeah.
to me.
Any thoughts on the renovations they did?
I loved it.
Loved it. The bar was great for people to hang out.
Yes.
I felt like we had more people just hanging out.
And you could see people on their computers at those
Working.
tables and working,
yeah.
and they were comfortable and still watching the cutting.
Yeah.
In the bathrooms, it's clean. And I do not feel like there's many people got sick.
That's what
No.
Jesse said. Yeah.
I didn't get sick.
I felt like that too. And I don't know if there had anything to do with the renovation or not, but I swear we'll see how the Derby goes. But
I mean, it was definitely the least asbestos I'd ever breathed in during
I
the
agree.
cutting, which was really nice. So I put that as my Yelp review. Nice decreasing, less asbestos.
but something felt different because I swear nobody hardly, I mean, a few people maybe got a little bit sick, but it wasn't for very long, not like it normally is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now talk to me about the mare, Red and Mild. Is it Red and Mild or Red and Milds?
Red Miles.
Red and Milds. Talk to me about that. Like, what was the pregame going into that? Because I think you marked a 222 and followed it with a 220. You were in the 220s.
Yeah, won the
Throughout.
combined score and won the semis and then,
Every go.
yeah, won every go. But let's back up just a little bit because
Okay,
I got to
fair
talk
enough.
about this mare just a minute. So Madison Barney owned this mare, and they asked me and talked to me about showing her, and I trainers never do this, but 60 days before I said, I'm showing her.
You're talking about the futurity.
I'm talking about the futurity.
Right
That's
on.
cool.
Yep.
And so I said, I'm showing her. If nothing goes wrong, I'm showing this mare. And lo and behold, something went wrong. She had an abscess from her bag, her milk vein or something, that went up to a gland up in there. And the kids called me up here one night, and they're like, "This mare can't. Something's wrong." and it looked like a stifle, like pulled her out of the stall and she couldn't hardly walk. I'm like, oh, she's ripped a stifle in half or something. And like this mare, you don't have to lope her much. In fact, we don't lope her much at all, which is not normal for a good cutting horse. And she's super easy. One of the kindest mares I've ever trained to date, ever. And so when we took her to a vet and we're like, something's wrong here, you know, and so they end up finding it up there, the most unusual problem you'd ever have. So she stayed 10 days or 12 days in ICU. And so we got her back. I'd already showed my two. I'd already had to jump over on another horse. And so Casey Green was catch riding another horse for us, actually that Beach Fork owned. And I said, Casey, I said, look, you're going to have to trust me on this. I said, if I can have 2 works on this mare, you need to show this mare. He said, okay, whatever. And so that's what I did. I had 2 works on her. I had to work her with a catheter in her neck. She had antibiotics 4 times a day. And this mare never got hateful, never pinned her ears. I'm telling you, she's one of the kindest, fun mares I've ever trained in my life. So we worked her the whole time. We never took the catheter out. We worked her. And then I worked her on the flag before his, when he was fixing to show her. And they went down and pulled it out of her neck. And he goes in and marks a 221 first round. Literally worked her 21 times in, I don't know how many days it was, because she was in ICU 10 or 12 days. So it'd probably been 15 days, I would say, or something like that. And so went to the second round, and everybody loved her and watched her show the first round. And then drew up first and just kind of had a wreck, and it didn't work, you know. But I just can't say enough about her integrity to cut and her honesty, and wants to try to be good. And Austin Shepard, when I showed her at the Super Stakes, he said, it's been a long time since I've seen a horse draw a cow into him like that and make a bad cow good. And that was his statement. He don't say much to me, I mean, he's helped me for 25 years or so, and he's unbelievable. And but that's what he said, and I was like, maybe that's why it's so easy. You don't, everybody said, was you nervous going in? And I really wasn't nervous, just because I think she's so easy. You felt comfortable, and honest to God. So when we come out there to get on her, if I have a horse in front of her, okay, I have to have a horse in front of her. I can't help the next horse. Sheridan hands her to me, and I'll get on her and I'll go to trotting, and she'll do this deal, and I'll kick her up into a lope, and she'll crow hop. Okay, I'm not making this up. She'll crow hop around the pen. I'll pet her and play, and we'll go 2 to 5 circles, and then I'll pull her down and dry work her a little bit and go to the herd.
Really?
Yeah. It's the weirdest thing.
That's cool.
How did you figure that out? At what point were you like, this is going to be the formula to get her ready?
Abilene, where I figured it most out, but we had to kind of figure it out before, and we were like, oh, let's lope her a little more for Casey, because he's not going to trust that or know to do that, and so we figured it out before.
Casey, this is what you're going to do.
I think the trust would have ended right there, because he would have said, loper, okay, loper. But she didn't have a huge amount of air for him anyway, so we couldn't ride her much anyways. But she's so easy, and every time I work her, she will sling her head at the cow or the flag. Even if I've worked her on cows that morning, and playing, she'll do it. And I just let her do it. In my old days, I probably would have not trusted the process. I probably would have not trusted the process, and probably took too much out of her. You know what I mean? But I know her heart and what she's doing, and what's Cinch say? I love it. She loveth the cow. She loveth to play with the cow, and it's a game for her. You know what I mean? Like she just
What do you think it was that did allow you to trust that process though, and not freak out about
probably
it?
Lance, my son. He's mellowed me out in the pen, just working here at home a lot, because as he knows, we've been together forever. In the old days, I used to grind them hard, because first of all, I didn't get sent the best horses, and I'll skip back to one of my good friends, RL Chartier. He hurt my feelings one time, but he hurt my feelings in a way to make me better. That was the truth. He said, well, we don't have to worry about beating you middle ways through the 4-year-old year because you've got all the good out of them. They're done. Meaning that I ground on them too hard, too much, and I didn't have enough to make a good horse for a long time. Now, I think there's a happy medium there, depending on the horse, but he really got me to thinking about it. And him and my son are like two peas in a pod, and they're both way more laid back than I am, or Jesse is, you know what I mean? So I feel like working with Lance did help me, because when I first started working with Lance, when he turned his card in, he went plumb.
Buddy,
there's the phone again.
We talked about this.
heck?
You did it to Kenny Platt. You're doing it to Michael Cooper. What do these guys got to do, man, for some respect?
You're going to have to get
it's
another.
Lloyd.
It's Lloyd. Let us see.
It's Lloyd. I'm going to go ahead and get this. No, man, I'm not doing anything important. No, I can talk, man. You're the GOAT. Yeah, no, we're just interviewing like some limited guy. I think I don't know, he's still wearing cinch. So if that tells you something. Yeah, obviously his career's, it's in the toilet. Okay, I gotta go.
I love you too.
I love you too. No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
Oh my
I
gosh.
turned that off. I guess I turned it on.
I know, and you really got him in your band, right?
Yeah. I think he got himself in
He
the band.
Man, I always do. I also got myself in his corner.
So in other words, you're doing that like some amateur ropers do. He's paying you. I figured he's paying you to be in the band.
Well, on
Yeah.
his low number. You know, it's like a
but you're
rating
still
system.
paying him to
Yeah.
hang out with him,
Oh,
because so these headers, they pay the good guys to heel for them, or they pay those healers.
Yeah.
That,
That's
I
very
figured out what
nice.
you
Yeah.
just didn't want to say anything. I see what's happening.
Part of it, it's an NDA. He signed.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, that's funny, dude.
So anyways, so when Lance turned his card in, it's a good thing I can come back off this. So Lance, when he turned his card in, I feel like he wanted to go as far opposite as from me as he could. Like in saying that in respect, I feel like he wanted to be the Austin Shepherd and Lloyd. He wanted to go up, drive up, and just like let him do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I got to put some pattern on them, and I got to stop, and I got to cram them. I got to hold them too much, all the stuff. Well, it kind of put Lance and I, bam, for about a year. And so I had to let him.
Like here at home training?
Yes, yes.
I got
yeah.
you.
And so I had to let him, he had to find his own way. I couldn't sit there and, tell him that. So you're going to have to figure out your own deal. You know what I mean? Fine. I'm going to do my deal. You do your deal. Well, come to find out, he couldn't go all the way, or he missed a lot of steps that Austin Lloyd was doing for sure. you know what I'm saying? So anyways, whatever steps he missed, he didn't get all of them. So anyways, he failed at quite a few, like we all have, right? Mm-hmm. And it was hard seeing it as a father, and I didn't want to particularly say my way's all right, because he's going to do things different and better than I am. You know what I mean? So when he come back, it was a good mesh, I think, for both of us, if that makes sense. His laid back attitude made me better even in the pen, because I've never seen the boy lose his temper, and that's rare, what I mean? Because he's just laid back. It's just part of his nature. So I think part of him driving up and wanting to drive up made me, when he'd take one of my horses and work it for a little bit, and I was like, oh, this don't feel too bad. This feels pretty good right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like that part of it made me think a little bit about it too. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's what made me help make some of the changes. Too much of one thing is not good. Too much pattern, too much cow, too much whatever, too much spurring, too much jerking, too much letting them, not pulling on them. All of it needs to be a happy medium, right? To make that really good horse and you a great trainer. So I had to mix that up, and I feel like mixing that up with what I did helped a lot. And now I feel like my program with him, and we have I feel like we have a great team together, but not just him, but the other people in my barn too. It takes everybody, as you guys know. But I feel like the mix has really helped, especially having Jimmy, and him here at the barn. What do you see? What do you do? Or can you work this horse a couple days? And you guys know all about that because you guys have a lot of horses and a lot of people. And I feel like that helps it keep it real, and you don't lie to yourself. I'm a big don't lie to yourself. Call it like it is. Don't be a baby. If they marked you a 73, go figure it out. Why did they mark you that 73? Why did you spray your hand? You sprayed it for a reason. You went and figured it out, and that's why you're a winner today. You went and figure out why. Everything's figure outable, as that book says, right? And so I want to figure out why. Why? Just be real to yourself. Call it like it is. And when my wife's hauling now, it's a little bit of a, I got to kind of be the husband, and I kind of got to be the trainer, and it's like,
cheerleader.
But I said, look, I'm not going to be soft on you because I'm not going to be soft on myself. Let's call it like it is. You know. So I'm glad I have 3 bedrooms in the house. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Every hauling husband needs those.
Support team.
How do you find that, like, what I would call honest accountability and or responsibility to yourself without lying to yourself? Does that make sense?
Well, I think that it started with me at a real young age, learning and having to fight and having to get it. You know what I mean? So when I find that as a young age, and I'm going to touch on something that don't have nothing to do with horses, is I feel like our parenting is like, I don't want to be soft to Lane or Lance. I want them to be, like Lane one time when he was in college. I'll give you a little instance. Like Lane one time in college, he'd come home and he was a sophomore in college. And he had won the region when he was a freshman. Come home and he's like, Dad, I need better horses. I need this, I need to do that. And I'm like, no, you got to get better with the horses you have. Go figure out a way to win. You're winning now. Well, all these other parents are buying the good horses and stuff. I said, look, you need to figure it out. Life's not easy, and this is what I'm going to help with, and this one. When he knew I could buy the other horse, he knew I could, but it made him bad. It made him mad. And he said, you're just not trying to help. I don't understand why you're not trying to help me like this. And it made him mad, and it hurt me inside too, but I want to be his father and teach him what it takes. Now he's raising a family, and his wife and him, like, they have no problems. He's been through the hard times. He knows how to figure it out. He knows how to make ends meet. He knows how to do that. So I don't, when I played ball with him, I never let him beat me. Oh, little Johnny, you're so great. You're so great. No, he goes to 6th grade and everybody in 6th grade beats him. Little Johnny, you know what I mean? It's the story's true. And everybody says, you're a hard ass. I'm not a hard ass. I'm competitive. Let's call it like it is. Let's make champions. Let's make champions. Let's figure it out. Let's be competitive. And my wife says, can we just have something in the house that we're not competitive at? That's where it lies in our house. I like it. I'm still competitive today. I want to be Gary Belafonte and win I want to win it before Gary did. But all those top winners, they're competitive. Matt and Austin Lloyd and all the guys that they talk about. You know what I mean? There's a reason why. And so when you say that question, if somebody else, so I'll back up on that question a minute, okay? And I know there's horsepower, and there's difference in horsepower, right? But we've all trained not so good horses. And I'll bring Adon into this. I have studied, 8 years ago, I had to order all of Lloyd's tapes. I was losing more cuttings on my last cut than anything in the world. Like I was just trying too hard, like we talked about, trying too hard. And so I ordered them, and that sucker, sometimes he never looks like he gets out of first gear. You know what I mean? And then he drops his hand with 14 seconds.
15 seconds.
Yeah,
so many,
whatever.
He quits the second count at 30 seconds, and he cuts with 15, drops his hand at 15. I've seen so many of those runs. It's like a robot.
Why is that sucker beating me all the time, right? So I ordered all them tapes. It happened at the BI. And, everybody has a coach, like mental coach or whatever in baseball and basketball. And I did this study with this mental coach one time, and she said, well, what problems do you have? And I was like, I don't have any problems. I'm good. I'm doing good, So, well, what are you doing right now? I was pacing up and down the hallway while I was talking to her. She said, well, why are you pacing us? I don't know. She said, and so anyway, she come to the spot, and I said, well, if I have one spot, it would be the third cut. And so we ordered all those tapes. We broke it down. And that year I was second behind you. Me and Taryn tied, and you won it on
right.
Swerving, was it?
Think I'm Hot.
Think I'm Hot.
Yeah.
She won it. And she said to me, I didn't think you was going to cut your last cow. And I said, well, I was slowing down like Lloyd and what we talked about. So the mental capacity of being able to break stuff down is real. Is real. And so you got to soften your body enough to win, but you got to still be sharp in your mind to be able to do it, and process it right there. And so I think that's one of the biggest things that helped me do that. And then when I had all those tough horses when I was at Missouri, and like I'll back up again to RL. And so when he told me all that, I was like, man, I'm not realizing a good horse. So I got to learn. So we're up here at Silverado all the time, right? And iron sharpens iron. And so you can almost get a clinic every time you're there. And Don, like, he was winning like 900 or $1 million a year for like 5 years right there. It was crazy what he was doing. I was like, I got to study this guy. This young guy, 10 years younger than me or 12 years younger than me, is whooping my butt. Like he's kicking my butt, I got to figure out what he's doing. Why is he doing so good? He can't have that many great horses. You know what I mean? Why is he beating us so bad? And so I started studying him. Why? Because I was a visual guy. That's how I had to learn. That's how I learned to cut. It's a long story back then, but that's how I learned to cut. I didn't never work for anybody. And so I watched Don. I watched what he did. Why is he doing this? How is he such a horseman? Ask him this question, ask that question. So I had to humble myself all the way from RL telling me that about my horses to become a better horseman at 40 years old and recreate what I need to do and listen to what the horse wanted. All we are is glorified teachers. And so I need to learn how to get the most out of each student. I need to learn in those stall barn right there. I need to learn how to get the most out of each horse in the stall. So over the period of RL telling me, watching Lloyd's tapes to watching the horsemanship of a Don that I never was taught. I never was taught any horsemanship. We didn't have a registered horse. I never showed a cutting horse till I was 22 years old or so. And so I think that was a big thing, but I would never had that if I was in Texas. I would never had the capabilities to get to the spot I am if I wasn't in Texas. Let's call it like it is.
Right.
Because you go up here at this cutting, and even if we're all pulling, we're still competing. If we got a good horse and we're not pulling on something, like, it's tough. Right. And so you don't have to be, Lloyd and Austin and Kenny has made that. And I didn't want to be here. I not want to be here. I wanted to stay in Missouri, and that's where I had the ranch and everything. And I did not want to come here, but the good Lord had different, spots, pathways for me to follow to get here.
And you're in the heart of it right now.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love everything you touched on with, and I just want to bring this up right now because I think one of my questions is, like, you've always been exceptional your entire career, but definitely in the last 7-8 years, the huge spike. And so you would say that you'd attribute that to being hard on yourself, getting Lloyd's tapes, watching a Dom for the horsemanship. And then I watched you work a 3-year-old and you were driving off way more, maybe 2 years ago than I'd ever seen you before. And that would you feel like is from Lance investigating Austin and Lloyd's deal. So kind of almost by going to work for Lance, which is where you're inevitably headed because Father Time's coming.
We'll see about that, big boy.
Two things are happening. We're all gonna work for Lance, and you're gonna get sponsored by Depends. That'd be the only reason I could see you dropping cinch.
Oh boy. Oh, this guy never quits. No, and I say there's a lot of stuff that has changed in the way there too. I feel like getting comfortable when, Ronnie Rice said this best. He said, when you get comfortable showing at Will Rogers like you are a little weekend show, that's when you're going to start winning. And I think that has a big toll on it. When you get that comfortable inside there and you can breathe and it's not that big a deal, it's always a big deal to us. Don't get me wrong. We're all ready and we got adrenaline pumping. And let me touch on adrenaline. I feel like adrenaline, and I feel like it gets more in the way of a person winning than anything, because your adrenaline gets pumping. And if you have the capabilities to slow that down mentally, your adrenaline pump, and slow that down, because that is part of the reason I lost a lot of cuttings, because my adrenaline was going so fast instead of turn around and stopping and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's go and let's process a good clean cut. It's hard to do that when you're going 9-0 and you're cutting that cow. You know what I mean? And so slowing that adrenaline down, and I don't think enough people talk about that, and slowing that adrenaline down, I think can enable you to process stuff. Because you think about when something happens and your adrenaline hits and you do something you don't even know you can do. Adrenaline does more for a person's body than you really realize. And so I think it's hurt me a lot from trying so hard and getting the adrenaline to slow it down, and being able to process my way through making a win and a run,
Yeah, especially when and again, you guys are professionals. I'm just a fan of the sport. But I also know that the difference in a winning run and a disaster is millimeters and milliseconds away. And so, if you can slow that down and feel everything out, of course, it's going to give you an advantage.
Yeah. And I think it's nothing less than any major league baseball, football, basketball guy plays. They work on their mental state too. And I think that's part of what we work on all the way through. To be able to process slowing down when it's going fast, no matter if it's seeing the court coming down through there or watching a ball come 110 mile an hour to you,
I was looking at a run, and you may have touched on this a little bit already. I think it was in 2009. Was it Yatacat at the Futurity? And I'd never seen like film of you back then. Of course, I've seen plenty of your runs now, but your style was very similar. Very fast, but very accurate. Where did that style develop, first of all? And then how has that changed from then till now? And I know that's a weird question because I just said they're the same, but I'm sure there are some subtle differences.
No, I think there is. The reason the style come from Matt Gaines and Roger Wagner. That's where I developed because that's how I learned. I learned off their videotapes. If you don't know that you can't wear a VHS out, you can wear them out because I proved it. So I watched Matt Gaines and Paul Hansma and Hip to Be Square with Roger, and then I watched Ronnie and Tag's video. I had those three. That's how I learned how to cut. And so all I know is Matt Gaines said to go over there, stop, draw, back up, if you need to. And Ronnie Rice said you can't back a horse too much. You know what I mean? So between all of that and having Roger Hip to Be Square, all that, I just tried to do that according to the video. So I didn't know what I was doing in Missouri. You know what I mean? I didn't know. Like, I literally had no horses. I would first guy that sent me a horse said, "Hey, you want to show at the futurity?" And I said, "Yes." I did not even know where that futurity was held.
Really?
So it was RC Little Pep, a mare I brought down here, and I had to clean stalls and lope for another guy to get a ride down there. So I'm not sure.
What year?
That was 2003. I made the first finals in 2007 on He's a Smart Task.
Oh, I remember the task.
Yeah. So
yep,
7,
chap days.
3, and then 7, and I showed a couple times in between
2003.
But that's when it been 2003 was the first time I ever showed.
And that's when you didn't know to enter the limited.
Right. I marked a 14 and a
would've made the
half. I
limits.
come down here with those guys, and they took me to pre-work at Pat's Fitzgerald's, and I eloped for some of them. I cleaned their stalls, and I wore a yellow shirt the very first time because I had 3 shirts to my name probably. And I'm sure everybody said, that kid's wearing a yellow shirt because that's still the deal, you know? And it was a John Deere finals then,
Yeah,
I think.
yep.
And I marked a 14 and a half and a 13 and a half, and they said, hey, you made the John Deere. You know, it only took like a 24 back then, or
Right,
26.
right.
And so I said, awesome. And they said, they were looking, we didn't have CHC.
Right.
You know, so you couldn't just go on there and look that quick, you know? And so come to find out, we never entered. The owner was too green and I was too green. I didn't know.
Didn't know.
So, and I went back and just wore that mare out. Won a lot of cuttings on her up there.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh,
she
that's cool.
was, if I had her today, she'd probably be really good.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? But yeah.
And how'd you come to be sent that horse?
Well,
how'd
so
that guy
I had a
find you?
guy working at my house for some reason. He said, hey, my cousin has a lot of cutting horses. Would you want his name, or could he send you some horses?
And you're just breaking colts?
I was just breaking colts, and any farmer that would send me a horse, I'd put it in my little round pen because I only had an indoor size 60 by 60.
Yeah.
And then I had my outdoor pen with panels, little $55 panels set around the outdoor pen. And so he sent them to me, and he sent me 5 horses at once. That's the most I ever had sent to me. And I was
That's
like,
cool.
holy moly, you know? And so anyways, this guy talked back and forth. He was great. He never hardly ever called. And
Yeah.
he called every now and then, and we'd talk, you know? And Jerry Hampton, they were early in his 3-year-old year, and somebody said something. I seen Jerry at some work, and Jerry took me under his wing when that horse was there. And so I just started working with Jerry a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that was the first person I ever worked with, was Jerry
Really?
Hampton.
That's so cool.
And so he taught me what he could, and was great to me, and still today one of my best friends, and I'll never forget what he done for me.
Yeah.
Because he truly helped me, you know, just encouraged me to go places, you know, that he was going. So
Totally.
it helped me to be that, you know, that kind person that just, you know, you feel comfortable going and helping somebody. And so I was comfortable with it, and it felt good, and he helped me, you know, the steps of the way. So that was my first horse, and wasn't even really a pre-work. I think it was kind of like a sorting practice or something.
Right,
But anyways, it was bright for me.
That's cool.
Man, we are, Dusty said it a minute ago, we're here at your place in Weatherford. It's phenomenal. I feel like the majority of this was built in the cutting horse pen. You have multiple businesses now. Tell me what the name Kenneth Gallion means to you.
Yeah, that's a funny story. That's a funny story. Well, it means a lot for 2 different reasons. One thing is, when I was 13 years old, we took two vacations my whole life. And one of them was to his house, but I didn't know it was his house. Dale Linder, my cousin, worked there, and he said, hey, we were there for 2 days, and I don't know, I guess we went, mom, dad had enough money. My dad didn't go because he was too sick or something, I remember. But we went, and he said, and it was like this. My eyes were, you know, when you go somewhere for the first time, you think, how do you, like coming from Canada and see all these horse places. And I couldn't fathom, you know, having all this. And so he said, hey, you want to ride one of these cutting horses? I said, yeah. And so we went and gathered, I don't know how many, it seemed like hundreds of cattle, and it was probably 30, because we didn't have cattle ranch or anything like that. And we went and gathered cattle, I don't know, and we put them all in the pen, and we cut up. Like, I rode 3 different horses, and I had a ball. I was 13 or 14.
That's cool.
And so it wasn't till years later in Carthage, Missouri, till my mom called me, and she goes, hey, do you know a guy named Kenneth Gallion? And I said, yeah, Mom, I know. She goes, remember that time we took that vacation? That was his place. I said, are you sure, Mom? And she goes, yeah, that was his place. I said, well, he's sitting right over here. I said, I'm going to ask him, because you're like, are you sure that was his place? You know, because I knew Mr. Kenneth and Jody and all them guys from just starting to cutting. And I either was right there at Mr. Darryl Rodrock's, or I hadn't went there yet. So that was that far in my career that I found that out, and had no idea that that's the first place I ever sat on a cutting horse. And so I said, Mr. Kenneth, I said, can I talk to you a minute? Because I'm like, in this, he would have been in his 70s or something, almost retired. He was coming with Miss Kathy to the show. And I said, does a name Dale Linder, does that come to you? He goes, oh, he worked 9 years for me. That was one of the best workers. I said, well, I got some news for you. That's my cousin. He said, really? And I said, I got some more news for you. I said, your place is the first place I ever sat on a cutting horse. And he said, oh, really? And I said, yeah. I said, I guess you was gone, but at 14 years old. And he went to laughing. Ha ha, son. Well, I'm glad I can make you famous, you know? And you know him, like he was a great guy. Yeah. And so we Mr. Kenneth and I come pretty close. It just kind of bonded us together. And he called me over there and he said, son, can I tell you something? And I said, yes, sir, Mr. Kenneth, because, he was a mentor, just listening, because he done well and had plenty of money and had ranches and all that stuff. And he said, let me tell you something. He said, and I'll never forget it, there's a couple rules that I ended up living my life by. And he said, listen to me. He said, I want to tell you something that a lot of these cutting horse trainers get in a bind. And he said, you are going to make a lot of money. He said, I can see it. And when you're young, you don't know, and you always hope you're going to do that. And he said, when you start making a lot of money, what are you going to do with it? I said, well, I'm not sure, Mr. Kenneth. I don't know until I get it, really. He goes, well, I'm going to tell you what to do. He said, I want you to put every dime of money you can back in land. I want you to buy land with all of it. I want you to buy every piece of land you can buy. I said, okay. And, that soaked in, and everything like that, and just kept thinking about it. But you know how somebody tells you something and it sticks back there and you say, do that. And so that's what I did. Every time I come to Fort Worth, every time I sold a horse, I'd stick money back and whatever. And that's how I come up with the 1,000 acres of land in Missouri. So that land started at $300 an acre. My wife and I bought the first ground at $300 an acre. And it went up, the last piece we bought was $1,500. And then it doubled and tripled when we got ready to sell out. And then when I bought land down here, so land has been a big deal to me, being a developer or land trader or whatever name you want to call it, in trading land. But those key words has been unbelievable to me. And another guy said, you'll make it at this cutting if you don't let your overhead get more than your income. And I kind of thought, oh, yeah? He goes, no, think about that a minute. Don't let your overhead get more than your income, because it's a real simple rule. And he said, you abide by that and you'll make it. But if you don't buy that, you're going to be upside down this cutting. He said, I've seen it too many times. And that he feared me enough making that comment that, Jenny and I, we didn't spend any money for years until the last 5 years. And a guy told me one time, he said, if you'll work while you're young, you can play when you're older. Mm-hmm. But if you play while you're young, you're going to have to work while you're older. Mm-hmm. And I've never forgot those few key words, Mm-hmm. And so Mr. Kenneth was two things. He was very special in my life. One thing is, I got to ride my first horse at his place, and he gave me the best piece of advice I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Did you know after that trip to his place that cutting horse trainer was going to be your path?
It was the best thrill I ever had. I still have the same love out there today. Like I can't ride as many as I used to, but I love it. I told Lance the other day, I said, Lance, I want you to do me a favor. I don't want to get emotional or anything, but I said, I want you to do me a favor. I said, when everybody tells me that I can't get on a horse or I'm too old or whatever, I want you to find a way for your father to get on a horse. However that is, if I die on that horse tomorrow, I'm fine with it. But I want you to figure out a way because there's going to be a time somebody tells you or tells me not to get on a horse. And I said, I want you to find me a way to get on a horse. Because horses and the cutting horse has totally changed my life from where I come from as poor and everything that went on in my life. It's totally changed my whole dimensions of my family and, changed the whole chapter in my world.
That's so cool.
I find that fascinating that you take this trip and you get on these cutting horses. I just question, like, do you think you would be cutting horses today if it wasn't for that?
I can't answer that. I really can't answer that. I don't know if I would have got the feel for that. If I always had horses. The reason I'm in horses is my grandfather. My dad couldn't hold a job down when we were in school. He quit school when he was in 6th grade and had to go work for his family. Then he had 7 heart attacks, open hearts, broke his back in 3 places. Like, it was bad. And so I had to start working when I was 13, 14 years old. He handed the cop. We went and met the cop one day when I was 14 because my dad was too sick and I had a lawn mowing business. And he stopped the cop and he said, and he probably had it premeditated, everything there. And so he said, Lloyd, I too sick and I can't bring this boy to all these jobs and we need the money. And so he said, he will not. And he looked over at me like that, get in trouble. If he gets in trouble, you call me first. I'll take care of it.
Driving.
Yeah, I had to drive the back roads, and I had a little trailer and everything. And, so when you learn, hard times make strong people, and soft times make soft people. Mm-hmm. And so as you can tell, work ethic means everything to me. And you grind. You get up earlier and you stay later than everybody else. If you want to be a champion, you don't just walk in and buy your way into champion. The horses aren't going to show up. You think they showed up at Jesse and Adon's barn because they were just good and they just become good one day? No. Every person worked at it and was a champion. They figured out a way to be a champion.
That's an interesting point. And I'm curious to know from you because, yes, hard work is a part of it. But if hard work was the only key to success, the mule would own the farm. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
What do you think it is that sets Jesse Lennox apart, Michael Cooper apart, Don Ben Willis? Like, what is the ingredient?
Well, I know what it set me apart. I can't say the same for everybody else. What set me apart was being scarred and not having enough when I was young. I wanted to find a way and figure out how to make money. Cutting horses was the biggest thing in my life at the time that brought the most money, that I seen visual prices and money and commissions and whatever you want to call it, rather than a sawmill job where I come from. Mm-hmm. So not having enough at home, I had to figure out a way. It scarred you. Like, it scarred you. You had fear. I had fear in my life. I still have fear until the last little bit. I've had fear in my life the whole time, making sure I made a difference for my kids and give them a better spot than I had. And I don't want to make them soft in that. I'm not going to give them a lot till I have to. You know what I mean? I'm just not. Yeah, they're have 10 times easier than I did. But still, I want to make them men. I don't want to just change my boy's life. I want to change my grandkids' life. You know what I mean? I want to make a full chapter, a full decade, worth of people. And so that's what I want to do now. That's why I'm studying with my boys net worth and portfolios. I'm going over all that with them right now, to try to figure that out. Where do we want to be? How do we need to be? And how do we get there? And what do we need to do? What's our next step? How do we invest? What do we do? Mm-hmm. So I think hard times made me grind to figure out and listening. I always stayed with older guys. I always listened to the older guys. I was never playing with the kids. I couldn't be a kid when I growed up because of hard times. I never got to go out and party, never got to go out and do what all kids done. I told Jennifer the other day, boys are gone. It's time. We're gonna cut loose and be party animals. And so, But being serious, like that's probably the turning page that made me think about and grind so hard in here that I didn't want to be poor. I didn't want to be poor because and I say that because it was tough. I mean, when you grow up and you eat squirrel and rabbit and turkey and deer and never had a steak till you're 22 years old and don't know how to tell the chef to cook it or the waitress or waiter, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I'm not crying about those times. Those times has made me who I am and the fighter I am. So I can't say what Jesse's deal, what Adon's deal. What was your deal?
Man,
But you put him on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. I think a lot of the reason that you came into my life when you did was because I was drawn to people that grind like that, you know. And I think, like you said, you didn't play with the kids. You didn't, which I ran around. I think you pulled me out of playing with the kids quite a bit, baby. But I was always drawn to that, you know, and I think that's what I think there's a good fear in the love of the sport, knowing that getting to play the sport is a gift. And if I do right and grind it out hard, people will give me these horses that are like Ferraris.
Yeah.
And all my day will be spent just joyriding Ferraris.
Yeah.
You know?
I think pain, like what Mike's saying, is like pain is more of a motivator than pleasure.
Yes.
Right? So the pain of poverty or the pain of not having money is the driver more so than like the enjoyment you would have got from hanging out with your friends.
Yeah. I think,
And for you, it was getting deported.
Yeah.
Was your pain
I would
point.
say this is a nice country. I like it. I like what y'all done with the place, and I'd like to stay.
we'll see about that. We're still voting on that.
Yeah. But I think influences are necessary.
Oh, it's
You
so
know,
important.
like I remember those tough days beginning of my career, and you just being like, just work more. It's easy. You'll figure it out. You know, or you'd say, I'd have trouble with a horse, and he said, just go home. You'll sort it out.
I always told them,
You know?
everybody that talked about Jesse, or we were in a conversation, I said, when he lets go of his try a little bit, he's actually going to start winning because he's got more try than anybody in the arena. Anybody gets up at 12 o'clock at night, works their horses, and come over there in those green seats and watch cows for 8 bunches, go sleep for 3 hours, and then go back and work their horses because you didn't want Alice thinking you wasn't working the horses. And then you think I ever thought he'd be in my herd one day? No. You know what I mean? Sitting there in those green seats when I'd pass every day. Hey, Jesse, writing more cows down every time. May go get a water, may go to Pepsi or something like that. And people would sit down with him. He'd sit there and not even look down. Go ahead and write cows down. Go ahead and write cows down. I use him for a prime example if you want to get better at cows, because there's so many different ways to win in this sport that it takes everything. And watching cows is one of them, you know? And so I think there's, you know.
Can you remember the time you did ask him, the very first time you asked him to help you?
I think it was an accident.
Yeah, you're probably looking at the guy next to me, and I just walked on down there.
It's and I think, and you know, actually, to tell you the truth, so Lance brought this up the other day, and how he knows maybe from me talking about it because he probably was playing outside in the yard or something. But Lance made that statement to another kid the other day. He said, if you keep watching cows like you are, like Jesse Lynx at Silverado, you're going to be helping, because Jimmy is helping a lot of people at Silverado. I said, do you know what a big deal it is for Spud, to help Spud, or help Mary Jo Milner or Lindy Birch or these guys that ask him, do you know what a big, he goes, yes, sir. And he takes it very serious like Jesse did. Yeah. And so if Jesse hadn't have done all that and been prepared for somebody to ask him, I don't think it would have come. How bad do you want it? How bad do you really want it? If that's saying I'm going to give you $1 million if you're there at 5 o'clock, you know, in the morning, you're not going to be there at 5:10. You're going to be there at 4:45 waiting on that $1 million. You know what I mean? Yeah. How bad do you really want it? You can say you want it, but let me see the actions. Let me see the actions. If you show me the actions, I got about 3 boys right now that work for me that I'm working hard just for them, Mike. Okay. Cool. And the reason I'm working hard is because I know they don't have that father influence, you know what I mean? So if I can make enough money elsewhere or some else to make a change in their life, like people help me, I'm going to do it because I know they have the work ethic. I know they're a good person, and I know they want it, and I know they appreciate it. So all that stuff, I'm going to work my butt off in different ways to help them. Maybe I can be the one like Kenneth Gallion that changed their life. You know what I mean? Cool. And so that's spots that I want to get to. And they are covering my butt in a lot of spots when I got to be gone, you know? on other meetings and stuff like that. So
It's a lot easier to help people like that, like the Jesse Lennox is sitting up there watching 8 bunches, when you see their drive and their desire to do the
Makes
thing.
you wanna help
want to
them.
root for that person.
yeah. It's the same way with somebody that works for you. If they're there, I got a couple boys right now, you tell them 5 o'clock and they're there 4:45, 4:30. You know what I mean?
excuses.
No.
Yeah.
No, it don't matter if they work 7, 10, 15 days in a row. They want it. You can tell. So what are you going to do? They think we don't see it. We got cameras. My wife gets up early. Sometimes I get up early. I used to get up a lot more earlier and beat them all to the barn. I don't as much anymore because I got a lot of different hats I got to wear right now. But the boss that's been everywhere and getting everything done and a champion, they see everything. They see everything. You know what I mean?
And those people are few and far between now. As a entrepreneur myself, it is frustrating, and I get jaded towards human beings in general because I'm like, where are the people with work ethic
Yeah.
anymore? Where is somebody with drive?
You
But
got
I-
their hand out.
Well, there's that, and I feel like there is an employee who's just going to ride the clock, do as little as possible to not get fired, and then if you do have somebody that's motivated in a way that I would want them to be, it's like, well, they're going to go start their own thing.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
you got to find that person that has the drive but doesn't want to have
It's real touchy.
their own responsibility.
It's real touchy. It's like everybody takes some incentivization, somehow.
Yeah.
And that's why I started doing that for my lopers. Just try to pull it into a team.
What is it that you're doing?
I give them, if I win or do good, I give them a tip, like a pretty large tip if I do good. The more
is it
I
like
win,
a percentage of the winnings? Oh, nice.
yeah. So I that's what I try to do based on everything is, I just want them to know that it's a team. It's appreciated. It takes everybody. It ain't just the trainer. It takes a lot of different cooks in the kitchen to make the meal.
To do it at the level y'all are doing
Yeah.
it at.
Yes.
Consistently.
Yes. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Medicine, vets, shears, all of it.
Since the early 80s, Bluebonnet has built a reputation for safe, reliable feeds. Today, they've evolved into a company that puts the horse at the center of everything they do. Every formula for every species is backed by science, guided by in-house PhD nutritionists, and supported by a world-class team. With the horse-first philosophy, Bluebonnet helps make advanced nutrition effortless.
Man, how did you find your way to various business ventures?
Through land development, trading land and everything. That's probably what got me. Well, it forced me to get to Texas because. So I'll back up just a minute. So when Daryl Rodrock I had a 5-year contract with him, and I've worked for two of the most unbelievable guys there is, Daryl Rodrock and Gary Rosenbeck, like two of the best guys in the world I could work for. So I signed a contract for 5 years. His health went down. So I was there 3 years. And at the end of the third year, right in the middle of the third year, he said, hey, let's sell everything out. But he let me sell everything and able to keep everything because he knew if I sold everything, I'd be another 2 years getting everything back, my program back. Because it is when you switch programs, just like RVR to here, I'm sure everybody thought I sucked for a while because I didn't have anything. Like you just went from nothing. You know what I mean? And those guys were really good. And so he let me enable me to sell horses to people and keep them there and go right on. And that's the year I was second and third at the Futurity on
J-Bar
one time, and I'm short and smooth. Yep. And so,
What year would
anyways,
that have been?
11.
2011.
2011. Yeah, I was second and third that year.
Yeah, that was a wicked year.
And so, anyway, after I was I'm going in a long story to get to where I want to get to. So I was riding for Mr. Gary Rosenbeck, and he called me that next April, and I had been making barn plans to go back to Missouri. We were going to go back there. I love that place. Lots of ground, cows, everything. My family all there, and I love that place. I love Summersville, Missouri. I love just a bunch of good people.
It was home, right?
It's home, And so, anyways, I was building that barn, and he called me one day, and he goes, "Hey, would you come to work for me in Texas?" I said, I'm building my barn and everything. I just started the plans on it. And I said, did you know all this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I started the plans, and he called me and he said that, and I said, no, not really. I just want to go back home, because it was scary for me to move the first place and move my family to Kansas City. That was a scared moment for me to pick my family up and move, because I had 2 boys and everything, and had that ranch there, and it was a lot. Mm-hmm. And so he said, well, can you think about it and give me a figure? And I said, well, I'll talk to Jenny and see. And so the next day he called me back, and Jenny and I talked about it, and I shot him a big figure, and he goes, oh, that's ridiculous. I pay my CPA or pay whatever. And he's like, I can't do that for a horse training and operation, blah, blah, blah. I said, yes, sir. It's no problem. I understand. All right, I'll talk to you later. Boom. Wasn't an hour. He called me right back. He goes, hey, you think you can get on a plane? He must have called somebody else. I don't know. And Chad Bashaw was a big chapter and big person in getting me to Texas and helping me do everything. I owe a lot to Chad for all he did there for me. So anyways, long story short, the man with the gold makes the rules. And so I ended up here in Texas. Well, I had my ranch up there. And so I didn't put my ranch on the market until after 2 years I was here. And so I knew I was going to be divorced and kidless if I tried to move back to Missouri. My boys and my wife love Texas. They love Texas. And so it's our home now. Like and so anyways, I put that place on a market, and boy, broke my heart. Like, because it was hard to put together, and that's where Jenny and I's roots. We'd pulled a trailer across town with a tractor because we didn't have the money, and that's what we lived in on our first house. And had, is just long wore out stories, And I just figured that's where I was going to grow up and die and retire right there on that ranch, And so, anyways, good Lord had different paths, anyways. And so I called Miss Georgia Williamson, and I put the place on the market. And so she called me one day, and she goes, hey, got an offer on the place? I said, okay. And she told me, I said, I'm just not ready in my heart to get let go of it yet. It's a decent offer, but I don't think I want to take that. Okay. Call me again another week or two. Hey, I got an offer. I said, no, I don't think so yet. Because my heart just really hadn't let go of that place yet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I knew, and I really didn't know what I was going to do down here, because I'd only been down here 2 years, and we were in a bit of recession there then, And so anyway, she called me the third time there, and she goes, hey, Michael, I take this back. I called her after the second time. I said, hey, Miss Georgia, I don't mean this to sound rude or arrogant or any way, but unless you have a full price offer, don't call me. I just can't really turn loose of it just yet. She goes, okay, Michael, but I don't know if we'll get that. Okay, I understand. Let's just wait for a little bit, because I don't really know what I want to do. Wasn't 10 days later, she called me. She goes, hey, Michael, how are you? Good, Miss Georgia. Hey, I sold the place.
Oh, wow.
What? Yeah, I sold the place. Full price offer. Shoot. She goes, but I got one little problem here. I said, oh, okay, what's that, And she goes, they want your tractors, they want your panels, they want your feed troughs, they want your cows, they want everything on your place. I'm like, okay, all right. It's going to take a little bit. I'm going to have to call my brother and my dad and see if they can't, go over there and figure that out. And so I had to go back to Missouri too. And we had to make an inventory list. And long story short, they bought that ranch, and they bought everything on it but like 40 cows.
Oh, wow.
And so I 1031'd all that ground down here. And so I bought 3 different spots of ground, and my wife was taking care of her parents. And so that took a lot of her time, and she farmed it. She knows how to get a calf to suck, and she knows how to pull a calf she knows how to do it all. We had to do it all. It was only one pony show, you know what I mean? And so back when we were doing it. And so anyways, trading land, back to your original question, trading land and letting it double and triple and making it move around and try to figure out an avenue to miss the taxes and try to do all that. And so that was my biggest hurdle and biggest deal was land. And then the idea of the gas stations and stuff was my biggest note in the car washes. I just called Link Clifton one day out of the blue, and I knew him all the way back from Kansas City. And I said, hey, Link, I got a real neat place that I think would be a really, really good place for a gas station. He said, are you really? And I said, yeah, you think you could come look at it? Long shot. You think you could come look at it sometime? He goes, well, actually, to tell you the truth, I'm in Fort Worth. My meeting got canceled, and my non-compete was up about 6 months ago.
No
He goes,
way.
he said, so I'll be
be.
out there this afternoon. So Blake Patillo and I met Link Clifton up there on the interstate, and that was our first venture, and I started working on it from there on. And so I think to be an entrepreneur, and you tell me because you are one, but you got to wear a lot of hats. You got to be able to juggle a lot. You got to be able to deal with a lot of people, and you got to be willing to do whatever it takes, because it takes a lot. You know what I mean? The entrepreneur don't get a check every day. And that's what I think you got to see. You got to see the vision. And if you don't see the big vision, you know, and take the risk, you got to put your first foot out there and take a risk. You think I wasn't scared to death when I built that first station? My wife about flipped out. Or the first car wash, and she goes, "What? Do you know what you're doing?" Well,
No, I don't.
I don't. but my gut tells me that I want to do this, and I got to try something to ever get to that next level.
Yeah.
I got to try something, because I have to make money while I'm sleeping, because if I don't, my hands and arms are going to wear out. I can't do it. You know what I mean? And so that was the biggest deal for me, to figure out that I needed to figure out something to make money that I didn't have to naturally work my body at.
Yeah.
You
There's
know?
a quote that says you can't get rich with your own two hands.
And that's, And Daryl Roderick, you started telling me, son, when you get smart, you'll work here, not here. And he kept saying that to me. It took me forever to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, but every day he kept mentally preparing me for that. He said, when you meet somebody, you shake them in the hand, you look them in the eye. And I mean, I was taught by I was taught by a World War II vet, and we were very strict. Like, we were taught how to treat people, you know what I mean? But the education of having somebody smart above me, like Daryl and Gary and Link and all them guys, I learned so much from them. So much from just listening or asking questions or whatever, you know.
Well, you mentioned doing a 1031 exchange. I would think a young horse trainer, like, where did you learn you could do a 1031
I learned it from
exchange?
George Ward in Kansas City. He was one of my customers, big time developer up in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And he explained the process to me, just like opportunity zones. I'm going through some opportunity zones right now. And so I just have to learn by mentors, just like we did in the cutting. It's no different. You just have to figure out, but I've learned some, you have to have enough money to start or get some sweat equity somewhere, but it takes our sweat equity usually here at the barn. So I had to divide and conquer for a little bit and mix everything up, or either get up earlier and work my horses and then work on the computer, or go of an afternoon. So how bad do you want it? Do you want to figure out a way to work? I just don't have enough time. There's enough time. There's 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
We can sleep when they're shoveling dirt over. So how bad do you want to make that change? So
I correct my employees sometimes. People are gonna think I'm an asshole, but they're like, "Yeah, I just didn't have time to get to that today." And I was like, "Oh, no, let's rephrase that. You didn't find the time to get to that today."
Yeah.
And I think that's what you meant to say.
exactly. Yeah. And I think that's right.
Yeah. I'm just a no excuse. I relate to your story quite a bit, because I don't buy into excuses. I don't make excuses for myself, so I don't want to hear your excuses to me.
And I think that's what I try to mean by be real to yourself. Like my wife, you know, I sat on the freaking couch and watched videos with her last night. Now, I didn't watch any videos that I wanted to watch. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to watch her videos, but that come out wrong. But I didn't sit there and watch a Netflix movie or something. She wanted to study and she wanted to watch that. So I needed to give my 100% to her, because she's wanting to get better. She's hauling this year to get better. And I know that when she sets her mind to something, whether it's racing or CrossFit or all the stuff she did, she does it. And she puts her whole heart into it. And so she's competitive. And so I needed to give back to her the 100% that she was wanting. And I was tired sitting on that couch, but you know what? We did it. We figured out a way because she wanted, and that's whatever she wants, I want, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a question?
I've got one if
Go
you
ahead.
don't, but I don't want to distract you. If you're
No,
about
go
to get
ahead.
it. How did
I feel like Jesse forgetting the words to songs last night.
I didn't think we were playing the blame game.
It just went back.
This is what happens when you're in a band.
How bands break up.
You should have took over when he had made that first look, Jesse. Oh, shit.
So stepping back just a little bit, as a young horse trainer, how did the Daryl Rodrock situation find you?
Well, he found me because he watched me at the shows.
At the shows?
And he knew, because Tommy Marvin was his trainer, but he knew that he couldn't put in the time if he had to go to the trainers and he was far enough away,
Yep.
that if he could get somebody there that was eager enough and tried, or whatever, that he could do better, because he knew he had a short time to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you know Daryl, he wants to do it. If he's going to do it, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the big motivation for me to go there, was mainly to have everything easy, accessible for him.
Yeah.
Because he still had a few businesses going there and stuff, and he knew his health wasn't coming. And so I think he just was, I don't know, just around me enough, or somebody said, because when he first, the very first question, I was on a horse when he called me, and I didn't even have his phone. Of course, my phone didn't ring near as much then as it does now. And he said, "Hey, this is Daryl." And I said, "Yes, sir," and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, "Hey, I just called. I'd like to hire you to come to work for me." And I said, No, sir, I'll just stay right here. He goes, "How can you even say that if you don't even know what I'm going to pay you?" And yes, sir. I didn't know what to say. He got
cool.
me.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I guess a smart man would listen, and I didn't listen very well. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll listen and talk." You know what I mean? Because I cut him off, and how bad would that have been if he hadn't have come back and said something and found a way to hire me? You know what I mean? What if I would have closed my mind off and shut it off? I didn't know the paths I needed to go to get there. Sometimes you don't know. It's scary as heck. I mean, you can't tell me you wasn't scared in different spots. You know what I mean? Coming all the way from there, trying to make it work, and, in the old Honda Civic car, you know what I mean? And so I think you got to make the first steps and try to step out. And so that's how that happened right there.
That's cool. And then how did you go negotiate? Like, you were pretty young at this time.
Yeah,
right?
I was.
Were you 30 yet or not yet?
I don't know. It'd have been 76. I'd have been 32 or something like that.
Yeah. Was it tricky? That would be one of the bigger business guys you'd ever negotiated with?
Yes, by far.
Was that intimidating? How did you deal with that?
Well, he did it both ways. He taught me with kindness, taught me patient, and then sometimes he would come right back and cut me off and say, "Why would you do that?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why? And I try to do that same thing to these boys that I'm working on now. Okay, listen, okay, and then sometimes they might ask me, and I'd say, "Well, why would you do that?" Well, and then so you got to come back. So he had a real thoughtful way, I think, of being able to teach a person, grow a person, bring a person up.
Cool.
And he kept telling me, "Remember, it's not about you, Michael. It's about the people you meet. It's about each customer you meet. You make them feel important. He taught me a lot about people skills. He taught me a lot about people skills.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad and mom always, and my grandfather always taught me to look a guy in the eye and do what you say you're going to do and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, real people skills, about getting up and talking and your actions and why you smile and how that person thought, or how he would say, well, he would teach me. He had such words of being deeper than just an owner and work for him. He'd say, how you said this made me feel like this. Mm-hmm. Well, your horse was great. That means I did bad, right? Figure out another way to come and say that. Yeah. Well, man, I tell you what, you did this, and the horse and you did this, and be careful. One word can totally change everything that way a person feels. And so he taught me a lot about how the perspective was how somebody was receiving it. Yeah. Just don't ask my wife that if I still do a good job at that. No, but I'm just like, there's a lot to that. And so I feel like through that, those 15 years, I really tried to think about that. And I'm a people pleaser anyways. I want to be people. I like people, and I think if you're going to be in this sport, you need, just like we are, I'm not in the horse training business. I'm in the people business. I mean, you still gotta get stuff done and get a product done like you're supposed to and train, but you're still in the people business. You can have a bad trainer, have a lot.
You're in the hospitality business
There you
for
go.
sure.
There you go.
Yeah. Horse training is a big part of it. Horse showing is a big part of it. Hospitality, I think, is just as big.
Yeah, and that's why there's a cutting almost here every day because people show up, and so, but it don't bother me. It never has.
That's cool.
Man, I've got a question. We're starting at Blue Sky Ranch. We're starting to do some breeding and have some really cool mares that we're looking forward to breeding. And I'm curious to know from you, with homegrown Bella Luella babies that you'll have coming, and describe the feeling, I guess, of owning a mare like that, and then to go on and show these babies that she has coming.
I don't know totally yet because we got the first one on the ground, because basically I've never kept one long enough. I'm going to back up just a minute before I answer that question. So in the years that Lance is a Hall of Famer and won $1 million and everything, but in the years past, I would buy these horses, he'd show them 1 to 4 or 5 times or whatever, and we'd sell them. And somebody said something and like kind of condemning me about selling all the horses. Lance, well, you got to realize that why we're getting paid by the rich people and the people that have money is because we work for them. And I tried to tell him, and I wanted him to set up that, making these horses and selling a good product is how we pay for stuff, not just going and showing horses, because I didn't want him to get stuck on showing horses and miss the real value of what was going on the business world. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I took away some stuff from Lance and Lane both, from showing and stuff. But I wanted him to realize why we did it. And I told him, that's why we have this ranch and it's paid for. Horses helped us pay for it. You know what I mean? So back to Bella, I showed her to quite a few people and my customers, and they didn't really want to bite on her because they just...
As a 2-year-old or 3-year-old?
No, as a 4-year-old, middle of her 4-year-old year. And they just thought it was just wasn't going to work, too much risk, and they just did... And the works probably didn't look that pretty in the beginning and stuff. And so anyways, I go down to my house and I tell my wife, I said, babe, I want to buy this mare. There's something about this mare that I think in my gut feeling says she's going to be good. And it took a little bit, and I've never felt such power in a mare in my life. I've never felt a mare this powerful.
Who owned her at the time?
Lindy Birch. And
Okay,
she let me ride her for a full week. She told somebody the other day, she goes, when he tried her, and she was here every day. And she said, when he tried her, he goes, I thought there was no way in the world he was buying that mare. Because she had so much cow. And Lindy's program puts so much cow on a horse. And I'd just stop her and rip her and make her stop, wait, and wouldn't even let her turn with the cow until she would, get where I wanted her to. And so, yeah, I mean.
What was the price tag?
For her,
Yeah.
it was $175.
So not cheap.
It was a lot of money, but I wanted to take the risk because I thought it would work.
Yeah.
And I knew it was a gamble, but same way with building a gas station or building this or building whatever, I've learned to listen to my gut. And so I always listen to my gut if I can now. I mean, every now and then it might be wrong, but you try to listen to what your soul's telling you, your gut's telling you, and it could have been just as easy wrong. And that's what a couple clients said, well, I really missed that one. I really screwed up there. No, you couldn't feel what I was feeling. You were just seeing what the outside was, and it probably did not look that pretty. But in the inside, I could feel, and the way that Mary was making me feel, she did not want to lose a cow. She just would just rip through your hands or whatever to try to cut a cow. And so she's brought our family a lot of blessings, I'll just say, and I've had several chances to sell her, and I've sold 2 or 3 embryos, and we got our first storyteller on the ground, and we got 3 LBRs. I give Austin, Jesse's third in line. He's got, I'm going to give one. I'll put this out there, RL, on video, because I got Austin's, and then RL, and then Jesse, and Lance is at the end. He's the last one. He's last one at the end. But I want to, these guys have, you never can do enough for your help. Mm-hmm. And Austin's helped me for 25 years. He's a very first person that ever helped me, and he feels the same up there today as he did, the day I hired him. And so if I can give a little bit of that, and it'll be fun in between to see what happens, and just be fun all the way around. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But her first baby on the ground looks good, strong.
Stud or filly?
It's a filly.
Oh, sweet.
And so we'll start breeding her. We got 3 of them coming. So I can't wait to see. Everybody wants their mare, their great mare, whatever, to have great babies. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I feel like there's no way she can't be a producer as much cow and strength as she has. But we'll see. You never know. But
I'm
exciting, pretty optimistic about it.
Yeah, that's exciting. She's always fun to watch, for sure.
Yeah, she's
one of those horses, when you see it on the PHC, you tune in.
Yeah.
Whenever that one goes.
Well, that's pretty cool. I never thought I'd own quite a mare like her. You know what I mean? And Jennifer gets a little jealous. I'll put that in there because I do love her. She's kind of the queen of my place around here. Oh, shoot.
That is funny.
That's awesome.
Oh, shoot.
Man, tell me this. I'm always curious to know. Again, we're at this beautiful place. We see all these trophies on the wall. I think you're close to $7 million lifetime earnings now. What is your metric for success?
My metric for success would probably be treat others how you want to be treated. I really feel that relationships is the key to success for me. Relationship. That's what I built everything on. Mm-hmm. And so that's probably the number one rule that I would say that's my metric to success, is having the relationship that you can build off of and get that partnership, whether it be on a horse or a gas station or airplane stuff or car, whatever it is, the relationship. There's so much the NCHA has brought me in relationships to people to bring my whole success up. Mm-hmm. And I owe it all to relationships, all the way from the very first person that put me in the show pen, that, everybody has that person that enters you when you probably shouldn't be entered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very
and
important
that person was Joe West Davis for me. Mm-hmm. And so he entered me, and when I'd not do no good or I might screw up, he'd go pat me on the back like that, and he'd say, "Horse feathers, son, we'll get them next time." You know how good that made a young trainer feel? Mm-hmm. Like phenomenal. Yeah. You know what I mean? It made you feel more relaxed that you wasn't going to lose that customer tomorrow, or he's going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so I just have to circle it all around relationships, I think.
What is it that makes you feel successful?
You want to know the truth? What makes me feel successful is my kids wanting to spend time and come back to my house, say, "Dad, you want to go to dinner?" That's what makes me feel successful. It's not about money, and it's not about things, because that's only for a period of time. Mm-hmm. This stuff I'm only renting it for a while, and I'm gonna die. I've never seen U-Haul hook behind a hearse taking all the money with them. Okay, so money means a fair bit to me because I was scared I wouldn't have enough. But in the end result, it doesn't mean anything to me in the end result. The success is the relationships, the people, the family, and the stuff, and the people I can help along the way. Mm-hmm. I don't measure success by the things I have. And I don't want, I got one bad problem. Only one problem. I'm a workaholic. I like to work. I like to work. So my son,
Yeah, you do.
And
Yeah.
so my sons, my wife, my everybody, that's my only problem. I'm sure if we get my wife in here, she'd find a couple little ones, but I truly like to work. And so out of work and relationships and success and stuff comes things, but things are only temporary, and I think that's the biggest success for me is my kids and them wanting to spend time with me.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
You mentioned customers that change your trajectory or your path. If we were to flip to the horsepower side of that, what is like a horse you can point to that changed your trajectory as a cutting horse trainer?
Well, one was that horse we talked about. It was RC Little Pep that nobody knows today. You know what I mean? And that horse helped me show the first time and helped me win it at a very small level that felt very huge. And then there was Yada Cat. He taught me a couple things. Yada Cat put me in the spot to win, but he also taught me how to show when you have a big score. Okay. Cool. So I done real good at the futurity, and they thought I was going to win the futurity. Stay right here. You're going to win. We know Shelly Mallory knows, the score's not this big. That's a huge score. You're going to win. Just stay right here. Don't leave. Please don't leave. Next horse goes in. They don't even know who Michael Cooper is. Tony Piggott. So, you got to laugh about stuff because it's just, it's just part of life, right? And so Yada Cat, after the futurity, that was a huge deal to me. And so when I would go to Abilene, Memphis at the time, whatever show, I might mark a really big score the first round, 19, 20, 21, 22, and I'd freak out that second go around. Nervous, didn't know the cows, and I might barely make the finals or take myself out on that big score. It was only here. It was here in my head mentally, okay? So that horse taught me more than any horse about learning how to show. You were talking about Red and Miles.
Yeah.
Jinx. I didn't even think about what I'd done, the big scores.
And
You know what I mean?
Go around, yeah.
And so in that retrospect is that horse probably taught me more than anything how to show consecutive runs no matter what is. Get in your bubble and focus on the fundamentals you need to do. And so that horse he probably taught me the most right there. Now there's a bunch of horses that taught me a lot of different stuff about pulling on them too much, too little, more cow, all that kind of stuff. But that horse brought a big key into my life right there.
Was it because of that was the first time you had that caliber of horse to be put in that position?
I think so. I just hadn't been put there enough. And he would just mark big scores and he could go fast and hard and strong. And I just hadn't been put there enough. So I had to reframe myself real quick to figure out the pressure, the mental aspect of it, and be able to calm myself down. And I don't know if I don't think I really ever got it together with Yada Cat, but it was that horse that changed everything from thereafter to try to figure that part out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you are told something, it won't process till a year, 6 months, 2 years, 3, 5 years later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at all the stuff we've been through on training,
I was going to ask, what was that horse for you? I feel like I know the answer, but what was the horse for you?
Well, like maybe similar feeling. Like it might have been like the first horse I trained to be good, and would have been like Boone Sam Baby, and I remember Michael really getting a hold of me strong after maybe the second go and was like, "You have to slow down."
But that wasn't the only time. There was like several times, Jesse, slow down.
No, you cannot keep revving the line and not have it blow up in your face. So, that horse, Think I'm Hot, another time, for the same thing. We talked a lot about just because you can doesn't mean you should. You know, too much of anything is too much. Had a horse bite my foot at futurity while Michael was turning back. That horse taught me a lot. Nobody knows her, but her name was Rockin' Kitty. And I actually do believe I'm the only person to ever make the second go with a horse biting their foot twice in one run. So all I'm saying, there was lots of positives. You know, it got bumpy for a bit, but you know.
I think that's what drawed us so close together and been so close along, is because I almost feel like, because I've helped him his whole career, like Austin has helped me, and I just feel like seeing his drive, seeing his love made me even want to help more and love it more.
It's
and
contagious,
and I think it just, both coming from a similar background of not really growing up in this, because I tell you what, you take Cade, Lance, Ryan Rapp, Colt, all them boys that showed in the youth and stuff, they never got nervous one time when they had to work in front of Lloyd Cox and them. It's normal for them. It's normal. They owe Lloyd, jacking around with them since they've been 6, 7 years old. They never got that part of it. I mean, they grew up, it's probably like LeBron's son or whoever's son that grows up right in the NBA or whatever, I'm sure they're just more comfortable in a lot of spots. But those boys are so much more comfortable than him and I was. I mean, let's just face it. Because did you youth cut?
No,
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't either.
He was on a path to the NHL.
That's very true. I can't even believe he passed it up. Watching. I mean, how's your teeth? Well, you got your teeth. Yeah.
Your teeth are still. That's why that NHL thing didn't work out. Kept all my teeth like a wuss.
But I think that path right there with him and I is what drawed so strong.
Yeah.
At what? A little bit of a stolen question in case you don't ask it, but at what? Yeah. I just worded it different, but now I'm going to word it like you do. At what point did you buy in that you were good enough to do this? Full-time cut and horse trainer.
Oh, shoot.
At what was it that day you were riding at Kenneth Gallions? And you were like, I probably am the best in the world.
No.
I probably
No.
I probably am. Wow.
Am
I a freak? Yes, I am.
You want to hear a real funny story that burned a hole in me, and it don't burn a hole as bad as it used to, is I was landscaping at a $12 an hour job in 1995. That was a fair bit of money back then.
Killing it, yeah.
That's nice.
That's a lot of money. We had the little trailer house. We had Lane born. Jenny would get up in the morning, go feed my horses. I would leave at 5 o'clock. I would landscape all day and come home and ride the break-in horses. And she might beat me home, clean the stalls, mow the yard. It was one show. It was her and I. That's it. And we had Lane, And so I quit that job on the square in Summersville one time. And this guy was not being the greatest, and I felt like I pull my heart and soul into working for him. Okay. Yeah. And I said, you know what? I'm going to horse train. And he looked over there and he goes, you're dumber than I thought you was. And
No way.
And he said, you think you're going to make it as a horse trainer making any money? He goes, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. I still hear those words sometimes. I don't think that anymore, but that put as much drive into me as it ever has. You know what I mean? And so, do you really think you're going to make it? And do you really know? I think it takes a long time to figure that out.
Totally. Yeah.
And I think it takes a long time and a lot of putting a lot of situations. And you see all these young guys go through it, and you can sit there. And how many times did those old guys sit there and watch? Well, when Jesse slows down or Michael just calms down, or I wonder how many times they thought that about us.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like I wonder if they thought, well, he's got a lot of talent, but he's just going to have to slow his adrenaline down. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think it takes a long time. Like I think each person's different, and I think each situation, I think every person is put in a spot, and if you can foresee going through that and getting through that, whether that be making a good horse or getting a good horse, and you got certain opportunities that if you get through, then those are your breaks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so maybe it was Daryl calling me, putting me in more horsepower. Maybe it was end up coming down here with Gary where, it's so each path will open up, whether it's somebody new sending your horse or somebody, whatever that is. I think that question is, I don't really know. It takes a long time. I don't think there's any spot that I really was comfortable, because I think when you get comfortable, you get complacent. Yeah. And I don't think I was ever to the spot where I was like, okay, I got this. Because still today, I'm working on stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to keep getting better. I want to learn more. I want to figure out how to get, how to keep breaking it down and keep getting better. And I think that's what keeps it. There's so many pieces to the puzzle. There's so many angles. There's so much tied to it that it's like Tom Watson said, it's like golf. It's just truly tough. Yeah. And I think that's what sucks everybody into trying to be competitive. And I think that's what keeps all the trainers helping one another, is they know how tough it is. I think the spot of... I think there's another. I'll ask myself a question. Okay.
Yeah, do it.
How about that? So, when's the spot you get comfortable showing?
Yeah.
When's that spot? You know what I mean? So that spot.
Yeah, because you mentioned that at Will Rogers, when that can feel like a weekend show, and that was the question I think I forgot to ask earlier. So thank you for reminding me with your question to yourself. When do you get comfortable showing?
So I think there's 2 or 3 things hooked in there. For me, I can't speak for everybody. I think for me was when you've showed down here enough that you get comfortable is one situation like Ronnie was talking about. The second thing I feel like was financially for me. It freed me up in a way that I could relax. I sent horses home. I only wanted to keep the best horses, but not worrying about money, not having to show on scared money, because you can't show a horse on scared money. And you don't want to show a horse on a scared customer. So when I say that, is being financially enough to be truthful to that customer, to show the hair off that horse and the customer not be mad, or whatever that circumstance is, to be comfortable with your own skin with whatever happens. If they pull Bella Luella and take her somewhere else, which they're not going to take her, but but I'm saying, like, whatever horse that is, being comfortable enough to say what you want to say, be truthful to them, and be able to just do freedom, freedom to just feel free showing your horse
Kenny
whenever
Platt
you
had a similar answer. If you remember that.
I do remember that. That was a very similar answer.
Yeah.
And so being comfortable with yourself training and being able to be comfortable with training what you're showing and the horsepower you have and finances and in all that realm, I feel like in the last 8 years, 10 years has helped me a lot. I feel like that's opened the freedom door to be able to go, this is fun again. I don't have to worry. Or do we have enough feed? Or we have enough money to make the hay? What do we need, babe? Where's that at? And all that is back there on the backside of that brain. And so can you give your full attention and your full desire to everything when you got a ranch at home and you need to pay all your help and you need to pay all that and you got to make a ranch payment and you got all this doing?
How would you say, how do you avoid the trap of complacency, though? Once you hit that level of freedom, I would think the temptation of complacency would be right there waiting.
So a guy said something to me one time, when I get too much cash in the bank, I get careless. And I've thought a lot about that because I really didn't understand what he was saying. And so I'm going to back up one more time. One of the best advice a guy ever told me, it was a mentor early when I was in my spot, that was one of the most key points in my life. He said, Bud, another thing, he said, Bud, you're going to make a lot of money. He said, but can I give you some advice? Yes, sir, I'll take it. He said, when you start making money, don't change the way you live. You live the same way now as you do when you start making a lot of money, meaning that if I protect and I don't blow and I don't make bad decisions and I don't try to live beyond my means, that I can play when I get older. And I feel like that's what Jennifer and I are having fun at right now. You know,
That's so important, because you do see that often. You start making more money, we start buying more things, and the income to expense ratio stays the same. I've seen millionaires
Right.
that just have a bigger expense column.
it's, you know what it is? It's a different number.
Yeah, it's numbers.
It's just, if I'm worried about $700 tomorrow, they may be worried about 700 or 7 million. So it's just a different number. So where's that lie in at? You know, where's that complacency? You know, do you, like I said, I'll go back to, I have a little bit of a work ethic or a workaholic problem. And so that's my, I don't have no problem with complacency because of my workaholic. I am truly.
You got a handy addiction for that problem.
Yeah.
So, but I don't. Another thing is, don't forget where you come from. That's one of my biggest tolls. Don't forget where you come from. Be compassionate. Think about money. Think about this. Think about the other person, how they're, you know what I mean? So don't forget where you come from. Don't forget how hard it was, how many times we went over and talked with Alice, you know, or how many times I had talked with Gary or whatever, and, you know, all the mentors you had trouble with. So I think those Q spots is viable to all of that in a big circle. I think it is. Would you agree? I mean, I don't know what. Speak on yourself. What's yours? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, are you there? Does that?
Like to be comfortable.
Yeah. Like, have you? What changed?
Yeah.
You to be more comfortable.
I would say the repetition's huge for that, and then the fear of the losing the horse.
Yeah.
Thing is when you can get to a point where you've had enough success that you know if this customer walks, somebody else will walk in behind them.
Yeah.
You know, when Alice was getting out, I didn't think there would be a Rock and P. And when Rock and P was getting out, I didn't think there would be XIT and Iron Rose and the Quirks and all the other people, you know, and I think once you've showed a pattern that you're going to be there early, you're going to work. This is what you can make out of horses. Then all of a sudden you free yourself to show. Yeah, you know. Yeah,
because and I'll touch on something that I don't know how to explain to a lot of guys is. Everybody says, "Oh, this is a hard business. This is a hard business." It is a hard business, but it's really hard to call it a business because a business you can sell. You can't sell this business. I can't sell my horse training, Michael Cooper cutting horses. I can't sell it 5-10 times EBITDA. I cannot do it. I have to sell my soul with it. And so I think back to what that guy said, don't change your way of living. Help me, you know, not get in a trap of spending more than I needed to spend, even though I could. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Find your own place. Don't pay rent no more than you have to. You know, all the different scenarios it takes in the end. You know what I mean? Make sure that you have assets, not a ton of liabilities. Make sure they're good assets. Just, you know, the trick. But I think all that needs to be said and talked about because it's true. It's true in all of our lives, you know?
yeah.
I agree. Sage
So
advice.
we have really, really, really good jobs, and we provide a very good service for the people we work for. And it's fun for everybody, or we want to make it fun. It gets competitive, and we can win some big checks, and it changes a lot of our lives, which I can't say enough about NCHA, of being thankful for them. They changed my life, horses and NCHA.
Well said.
Yeah, very good.
We have some rapid fire questions here if you want to roll into that. So Feel free to answer these as fast as you want, or as slow as you want.
Okay.
We're just going to ask them in a rapid way. I think Jesse actually prepared some today, which is nice. For a change, but
that's not the guy I want to answer to.
I'll kick it off. I'll kick it off, and then I'll let him jump in here.
Shit.
All right. What is your favorite Western movie?
Oh, Lonesome Dove or The Man from Snowy River. It's a tie.
What is a book that you either re-gift most to other people or reread most?
None.
You don't read books?
I wish I read more books, but I don't. I guess, and I'll have a hard time. But it's the books that Jennifer has me, and I cannot think of the name of it right now. But it was with Michael Jordan and that book right there. That's the key book, but I cannot remember the name of it right now.
What was it about it?
It was with Michael Jordan and his mentor and everything that went along with his mentor. It was a
The psychology book? Okay.
yeah, but I cannot. Jennifer could tell me if I was sitting right here by her.
What is a horse that you wish you could have shown, whether it's dead or alive?
Kittenish.
Yeah.
I wish I could show her just one time.
Did you ever get to work her?
Nope, I never did get to work her. Now my son did.
Did he?
Lance did. That sucker. I'm gonna kick him in the knees. I just now remembered that. Oh shit, that's funny. Yeah,
Where would that have been at?
at Austin's, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Right on.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to work her?
No.
You didn't?
No.
I'd say there's only like 5 people that only got to
Yeah.
work her.
Yeah.
Yeah, special horse.
That's a truly special mare. And Don't Look Twice would be another one right there.
Oh, yeah.
Worked her
Uh-oh.
when she was 2.
Okay, so you did.
Oh, no way. You did?
You
Over
did.
it? Yeah.
I did.
Yep, you sure
Or she
did.
just turned 3.
Yeah.
Where it was right in there. And yes, I did work her one time.
Right. So Austin can thank you.
It was
Thank you
before
for that.
Austin.
Well, that's why she's so good.
Yeah, yeah.
You had one right on her. I mean, Austin, surely.
Doesn't Austin always mention
Austin-
that in his interviews when he's winning?
Surely he will be. Is he calling?
What is a horse of yours that you showed that you would like to show again? Knowing what you know now, maybe.
RC Little Pep.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to show. I would love to have that mare again and see how she was. Like, I mean, I think she's probably a really good horse. Like, I I really do. And Sir Stylish Lizzie, I wish I had him over again too. Sorry, I put 2 in there. Can I add another one too? There's so many you wish you would have had back.
Yeah.
Are we rapid firing?
Yeah, but I told you get to answer them.
Because there's so many you wish you could have back just to know the knowledge or redo some stuff that you just know, or you change up or drive up, or you know, just something like that. Just tweak a little bit different way. Don't train the horse because you're doing what you think. Train the horse what it needs, and be more of a horseman to Don, you know, like I was talking about.
If you could go to any time period for 1 week, when and where do you go?
Any time period, like back in time, or
Any time period for 1 week.
oh my gosh, I'm gonna slow this rapid fire down right now. I would go back on horses. I would go back to Soon You Will See, and I would do a better job showing her in the finals, because that eats me up when I passed a black cow and I could not get to the gray cow today. You see me gritting my teeth because I did not have my showmanship skills and was not mentally prepared and did not do a good job, and I thought that mare was supposed to win the futurity. And I did a bad job.
Right on.
And me and Lance weren't in the corner yet.
That's true.
That ain't on us.
That's a good question. It's not part of my rapid fire deal here, but when was the first time Lance helped you, and what would describe that feeling, having your son?
I tell you how it was. I'll tell you exactly how it was. A little humiliating for a father to. Do I have to do you have to air this?
We've won more since he's been in the corner, though.
So he's probably helped me, Jesse.
Every Will Rogers win.
I know, but
There's like 3 or 4 of them now.
gosh. Oh gosh.
If you wonder.
Oh yeah, grab the knife out of my back.
Yeah. But you were doing
think
fine on your own.
I think he's helped me right at 5 years, 6 years,
Yeah, something
5
like
years
that. That
maybe, or
feels
so. And at first, when he mentioned a cow, I was like, no, I got
Oh
no.
yeah, it'd be like, shut up, kid.
I talked to Jesse about it. And it wasn't till a time or two that I didn't have a cow.
Yeah.
And he would mention a black cow or something. Jesse, you know that cow? Oh, yeah, I think so. Or maybe not or whatever.
Crickets.
And I actually put my son in the same circle as Grant Setnica and Jesse and Clay Johnson. A few of those great cow watchers, RL, Steve Olaf, some of those guys that I watched with those great cow watchers, because it took me a while to have faith. He's my little boy. Mm-hmm. I put him down there because, I want to make this a good deal and everything. It took me a long time to get the faith in him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he kept building it. He's real quiet cow watcher. Why didn't you talk about that cow, Lance? Well, probably because I didn't listen. You know what I mean? And now he's amazing cow watcher. And I feel like I got two of the best cowmen in the corner in the world. Maybe that's probably 70, 80% of why I'm winning. They do a great job, and they ham and egg it together right down there really good.
For the folks listening and myself, take folks like you're getting ready to ride down. You got Jesse, Lance there. You're deciding on which cows. Like, what is that conversation like?
Well,
are you telling them what you want? Or
No,
He's really bossy.
I think
Get
they
to his level. He knows what the fuck he wants to do.
get out of here.
And when he turns around and he doesn't have something, then you can give him something.
We never take anything in the show pen personal, okay?
You can say anything you want.
And you always look back and say it's your fault, right?
That's
so
right.
because it usually is, I what was the question? I just went blank.
What is that conversation? When
I tell you what I think. I think they know when I'm positive about some cows, he can back me up, that I know I want to cut. And then there's times when I say, okay, guys, what do you think about this one? Or do you have something? And if they mention it a time or two and I'm good with it, or sometimes they'll pull a rabbit out of their hat like that they like, and it's there and they know they can talk me right into it. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you have a team like those two that really want you to win, it feels very comfortable. It feels very comfortable. And he's like my brother, and then my son down there. I can't tell you when, there's several times I've had to rely on both of them. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a fact. And so there's times I feel comfortable and positive, and I'm not the greatest cowman like them two. You know what I mean? But I you try to study on your weaknesses, no matter what that is, and try to work for it. And so I think, all aspects points to that right there,
Who taught you how to watch cows? That may be a silly question, but who
No,
taught you how to
I know
watch them
exactly.
there?
I'll
And
tell
then
you.
when you got to
I'll tell
Texas,
you,
did that change?
No, I'll tell you exactly who. Well, no, not really. Galen Wells is the one that took me he took me under his wing when he was up at Kansas City. And I actually got to catch ride some horses for Galen. Galen was a big part in my career that we didn't really talk about. He taught me how to watch cows. He taught me how to show a horse. He taught me the fundamentals of showing a horse, because I had to buy my first cutting horse to be able to show one. Nobody was going to send me one. You know what I mean? So I bought Quarterback Doc, and I bought him for 10 or 12,000 or 15,000. I can't remember, right in there, 15,000 or under, because there's no way I could afford more. And I marched 74 first time out in the 2000 Limited. Went the next day, marched 75. I come home with money in the bank. Yes. And I was like, Jennifer, I made money. No, I'm not joking. Like, I'm serious. I made money at this. Can you believe that? I mean, I made money. And so it started from that horse right there. I had to buy my own cutting horse.
That's cool.
Yeah, Jerry Hampton helped me buy him.
Really?
And I went to him with my first show.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Quarterback
Doc. You think I'm going to forget that name?
That's awesome.
This will be I have one that I'll end the show with, but this will be my last one before I let the Louis Vuitton Vaquero.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from him.
What scares you?
Scares me. I'm not much of a scared person, but I guess nothing in the cutting scares me. I guess it would just be maybe my family members or something being without one of them. That's the part that maybe I'd fear the most, my wife or my kids or, something like that.
Right on.
I think that's, that's the only thing. Yeah. Don't scare me.
That's a good one.
Not very spooked.
Awesome. All right.
No, boy.
Rapid fire. Go-to pump-up song.
Oh, I just got a new one, but I can't even remember it. I gotta look it up. Hang on. I just found it.
Once you got it.
No, hang on. No, we can keep playing. Wait, whoa. That's you. That's you.
He's also a big fan. That's his ringer.
Oh, shit.
Is he gonna name a song by Low Expectation?
I'm never gonna quit. I just heard that.
Nice.
I'm never. Huh? Okay, hang on.
Who is the artist?
Haven't got that far yet. Hang on.
Oh,
This ain't the good part. This yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, we wrote this.
Hang on. Have you heard this? You haven't? Hang on. Listen to the words. You got to play this.
Song's making me think you need a hug.
Wait. Listen. I'm never going to quit, bro. You got that, Lance?
Yeah.
Lane? Hang on. Start slow.
Does.
Hang on. Now.
Wow.
Never. Got it down right here, bro. Listen to that. It pumps me up. That's my new one. Let's go.
Is this what you were listening to before you showed in the?
No, I'm going to the BI. It was an old one. Now look out.
Oh shit!
Okay, I'll show
Yeah,
you.
look out.
That was, he won this before he had that song.
Yes. You see how it's got me going? Let's go.
Call Bob O'Bannon and say we need a bigger one of these.
Oh shit, are we full of it? Wow.
No. Okay, so that was
I don't know who sings that either. I
good.
got it
Was
all.
that Spotify? Mm-hmm. They don't tell
I'll
you.
have to, I'll have to look here in a minute.
Okay. Boxers or brief? Briefs?
Commando.
Hell yeah. Most cowboy answer ever. That's awesome. Most quirky behavior.
I told you I have no bad habits. I don't know why you're asking
I
that.
should ask you.
My quirky. Oh, I know what it is. I like clean floors.
Okay.
I got to sweep the floors.
Gotta sweep
Yeah,
the floor.
that's my quirky. I got to have the floors clean, especially if I have to walk through it barefooted.
You already talked a little bit about this, but I'd love to hear more. What's the importance of good corner help?
Well, I'll let you know when I find some.
Yes.
Back at you, bro. Back at you.
Well played.
Perfect.
Oh shit.
Dream vacation where?
Dream vacation. I want to go to Australia.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm going to Canada here, I'm going to Africa here in just a little bit.
I'm so excited when you see
I know.
They're so close. Canada, Africa.
I know. I looked over there and I think
Similar
Canada.
places.
No, Canada. And so that was on the bucket list, and I want to go to Australia.
You're going dog sledding in
I
Africa.
want to go. I want to go dog sledding, but I was thinking about it. But my family won't take me. But I'm gonna go. Will you take me?
Yes.
Okay. I really want to go.
Africa. That's
Yeah, we're
cool.
gonna go. We're gonna go in June, I think.
In June.
So that'll be cool.
The whole time you'll be wishing you were in Australia.
Oh
but you're going to Africa.
yeah, but I want to go to both.
All right.
I want to go both. I've never been there. I want to go.
Yeah.
Have you been?
Nope, never been, but I'd like to go too. Where do y'all
I
safari
have
in? Or?
no clue. My wife sets it all up.
You just get on the plane.
Yeah, I just get on the plane, but we're gonna go over there and see a
I bet they're taking him to Fort
bunch of
Worth Zoo.
animals. Yeah.
I bet they're going to trick him right in. It's like when me and Lance tell him a cow's fresh, but it's definitely been worked.
Oh my god.
He's quite, if there's 10 seconds on the clock, you can talk him into anything. Quick, get on the plane.
It's Africa.
It's Africa. This looks like
Oh
the
my
zoo.
gosh, that's funny.
Hurry.
Oh gosh, that's a good one there.
What are
They have an I-30 in Africa? It's so funny.
it's so funny? I thought the jet lag would be worse.
Oh shoot.
What are 5 daily behaviors or habits that you try to practice?
5 daily behaviors or practice.
Practices or just things
I
you try
mean-
to do every day.
I mean, I get up, I read the Bible every morning or listen to it. My son, actually, Lane, we haven't talked much about him, but he's kind of took the other part of the entrepreneurship. Lance is kind of taking the horses, and he's phenomenal at it, and he challenged me to do that, and that's been a fun process, just listening all the way through the Bible. So I do that, fix my coffee, get my computer, about like that right there.
Yeah.
And I come make sure Lance has made it to the barn.
That's a good idea. Make sure he's training you some good ones.
Yeah. Just whatever the day, that pattern runs the same every morning.
Yeah.
And try to work out 3 days at least. Mm-hmm. But after that, you never know what my day is going to be like sometimes.
Yeah.
So there's not much pattern past that.
Yeah.
It's doing the task that whatever might be done that day.
Yeah. But that's the way you start.
That's the way I start.
Cool. Yeah.
Alrighty, my friend. Last question. If you could put a message on a billboard, metaphorically speaking, to get it out to millions of people, what would your message say?
Can I have 2?
Sure.
Treat others how you want to be treated would be my number one rule. Like that would be my go-to deal. That's what I always say. That's if you ask my boys what the number one rule was in our house, they're going to say that. That's the number one rule. And the second one would be, if you want what others have, you have to be willing to do what others won't do. Those 2 things is what I roll by.
Beautiful,
right
man.
there.
Beautiful.
Because it goes back to relationships. When you treat others how you want to be treated, and you bond that relationship through whatever, you never know what's going to happen. So that's how we live our life, and I think it's pretty simple.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
That is
you,
our
guys.
most valuable asset. I appreciate you sharing it with me, the Vaquero, and the listeners. And thank you again, Louis Vuitton Vaquero, for making another appearance.
Does he have a different rock name or?
Oh, for the
This
band?
is his name.
Oh no, Louis Vuitton Vaquero.
Oh, okay.
plays
That he
harmonica
does it
and,
all. He does
bass tambourine.
bass tambourine. Okay, well that's cool. You do it all. Louis Vuitton.
All right, we're
All
out.
right, sounds good,
Good
guys.
job,
Thanks.
Thanks again for tuning in to the Converse Cowboy podcast. One more thing before you take off. If you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to join the Stay Grateful newsletter. It's where I share reflections, lessons learned, and earned secrets. In a world that moves fast, it's a good place to slow down, reflect, think deeper, and stay connected to meaningful and like-minded people. Sign up for free at conversecowboy.com. Thank you for being here. Until next time, stay grateful.